Hello, I'm going to test the mic. It should be okay. And I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. Okay, good afternoon. And I'm Shing Alvin. And I'm going to present my individual project about the statement technology is a useful servant, but a dangerous master. And I'm going to evaluate this statement based on the use of social media in the development of teenager. Okay, first of all, when we heard the word social media and adolescence, what would you think about this two word linkage? In some positive way, maybe about stylish, because the adolescents would like to have many famous picture, many stylish picture or many beautiful pictures, or a miracle of linkage because they have many social media accounts such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, etc. In another way, angles, and there are some negative feelings, negative aspects about, such as they can't put down the phone. They will, some of the adolescents will borrow the phone when they go to the toilet or even having dinner. And another view is the anonymous factor. This is because some adolescents may think that they no one would know them when they are on the internet, so don't need to bear any responsibility. Or counting the like. This means that the adolescents may think that the like get from the post is very important, and they may compare the like get it with each others, and also cyberbullying because of anonymous factor, or counting the battle, and also being distracted and change the original schedule. This is because that the adolescent may be distracted by the social media, they spend the time on it, and originally they have some schedule they need to do, but they didn't done for this such things. So probably, in my opinion, I think that when many of us hear social media and adolescence, the two words linked together, the negative feeling is much larger than the positive feelings. So I'm going to thinking about that. Can the social media be a useful servant to adolescents? Okay, wait. And let me talk about the merit of the social media for teenage development. And first of all, social media can strengthen the friendship. It is a no doubt statement that friendship is a key component of adolescent life, or even every adult or childhood life. And a healthy friendship can let the adolescents to accept who they are and become more empowered and connect to the world around them. There is a research showing that 52% of the teenagers feels that the social media improved their friendship, and only 4% of them felt it hurts them. And also 30% of the social media users believe that the social networking makes them feel more confident and outgoing. And I think that the friends who can speak truth may also encourage the adolescent to explore their dreams. And even more, I think that some solid friendship may also help to prevent the appeal of bullying. And this is because I think that the solid friendship is kind of a built-in layer for the adolescents. And as we know that the bullies usually target the people who are easier to bully, and they only target the teens who are isolated or alone. So I think that the social friendship can help to prevent the appeal of bullying. Okay, the second merit I think is that the social media is a vehicle for the teenagers to do better. And If the adolescents would like to develop some fundraise or supporting some important issues, social medias can help them to impact with the communities or even build the awareness of other peoples and for some specific issues. Okay, and they can impact with the communities through different ways, such as making some YouTube videos or using the Twitter campaign. This can help them to present their voices and let them the voice more easily to heard by the public, and also connect the adolescents for some faraway issues. And as a matter of fact, if we don't have no, if we have no social media, we cannot know about American and Chinese news or even faraway news. This is because of social media and let me transfer different informations. And this can make an impact for faraway people, and they can voice over some important issues such as preserving the rare animals or provide the subsidies to the African children. And also, this is also an important factor that the letting the adolescent to know that the social media is not only for selfies. And this is usually a misunderstanding that the social media is used for self-presenting only and used for them to present their life highlights only. Okay, this and the impact goes more important issues like preserving the rare animals can let them the social media is a tool for them to affect the world, and by doing so, I think this can help the teenagers to develop the adolescents' kindness and gratitude. Shit. And okay. And the third point is that the social media is a source of authentic support. What is the means of authentic support? This is mean that they can get real support that can really help them. And there is one characteristics that the social media link the people around the world. There is no more isolated and no more marginalized people normally. And each of no matter adolescents or adults, they can find the suitable groups to join so that the boundaries of people become smaller and the adolescents can feel less isolated when they need help, especially when they are interested in some unpopular subjects and some unpopular research, and they can find some helpers or some people to discuss online. And the social media can pass through the message in a very fast and repeat way. And this can help them to prevent some bad habits, such as the drug addiction and eating disorder. And ensure that the adolescents, by repeating this message, this can assure that the adolescents to know the cons of having such habits. And in this case, the online community support is important. And this can help them to find help and support online without leading the adolescent to leave the home. And there's examples of online communication supports because about the Reddit communities. And one adolescent was going to suicide, but there are many positive comments and voice conferencing around 50 people that as a result stop the adolescent suicide behavior. So I think that, and this can help this kind of online community supports can build the hope of life for the adolescents and let the adolescents feel more validated and secure. And moving on to the dismerits of social media in teenage development. And I think this kind of dismarriage is because of the abuse of the usage of social media. This is a main point. Because of the abuse of using, the dismarriage appeared. And the first dismarriage, I think, is the perception of a healthy relationship will be distorted. And usually, the adolescents only see the highlight moment, which means the specific best moment, but not some sad, hard, or heartbreaking moments of the others. And because of that, the adolescents tend to show the highlight field on the social media, and there is no another side because they also always want to be showing the best self. And the different pattern and the following are the different patterns of distort relationship, like constant comparing, lack of internal validation, instant gratification, and all over sexualize the problem. And start with the constant comparing. This is because each of us want to present the ideal image on the social media. This is a must, I think. But at real, for the relationship, I think sometimes it would be hard or uneventful. So if we only look all the pictures of the highlight moment, we may think that all the relationships are very eventful or very perfect. We cannot know. We cannot know what is a healthy relationship after all. And I think it is really impossible that we can spend 30 weeks a year to take some beautiful pictures every day, and which this is, I think, really impossible. Okay, and moving on for the lack of internal validation pattern. This is because the social media usually emphasize the coherence of group, and they emphasize that the external validation is important, and the adolescents may easily become dependent or enmeshed afterward. That's why the adolescents would likely easily to become lack of internal validation. And for there is a type of mistake is instant gratification. And also, and it's the same point that relation is a hard work. We need time to build up a good relationship. But however, if we always use social media to build up new relationship, we may think that having a new relationship means press a follow button or send a friend request only, which is something simple, but at truth, and this is not something truth. And for the over-sexualized problem, I think this problem is normally appear for the girls because they may, after they post some photos, they may know that the sexuality can be used for getting attention or getting more audience, because as adolescents already care about their look for a lot, caring about their appearance, so that they may rate their self-worth based on their look only. And this is causing the over-sexualized problem, or they may take some sexy photos, or on the other hand, they may, because of want to have a good look to become worthy, some mental problems or eating disorder issues may appear. Okay. And the second dismerits I would like to talk about is the problem of time management. There's a data showing that the US teenagers spend more than 7 hours on screen time per day, which 62% of the participants spend more than 4 hours on social media per day. This shows that the adolescent social media is active every day or even the midnight. And the sleep deprivation and the sleep disturbance are directly linked to the loneliness and depression. And this may also cause the bedtime sleep or lack of sleep problem. This may lower their daytime function or academic achievement, which is letting the role of student become worse. And also, I want to talk about the time wastage problem. And there is a research, it's interesting, showing that why the teenagers are going to use the social media on the bedtime at the bedtime when the bedtime is that they are worried of missing out information. They are worrying of missing any suspicious information or any interesting information or any news around them, and at while they cannot join the talk with each others, so they choose to use a lot of social media. We maintain the up and on and also for the if they spend a lot of time of using social media, what can they do for the remaining time? I think that they don't have time to develop their habits, their interests, or their passions. And also, they have no time to communicate with the parents and lower the parental relationships and the parental bonding. And besides, I want to talk about the loss of joy. This can be illustrated by a simple examples. Like we go hiking. And for example, and when we go hiking, usually we would like to enjoy the view or enjoy the process of climbing up the hills. But when we are using social media or social media be our masters, we will focus on finding a good angles to take a good picture for us to post or spend most of the time to modify the take pictures. And I think that this kind of hiking is meaningless because the original joy of hiking, we ignored it. And also, and I think that social media also cause some di direct mental health problem because of the decrease of well-being, anxiety, and bullying. There are also some research to prove that. And this may also lower the adolescent self-image. And the third dismarriage I think about is the lack of developing personal skills. Because what is personal skills? Personal skills is some essential skills that all of us, I think, no matter adolescents or what, need to be well prepared, such as the social skills, our attention, how to focus on something, or risk or stress and frustration tolerance. And this kind of personal skills are some skills that when we use more, we can develop better. However, social media is a living room to the adolescents because they have, when we are live in the living room using social media to have a relationship, we have no difficulties and no complexities and we can only communicate with others who we want to associated with only. This is not true when we in the real time. And for the face-to-face communication, we usually need emotional involvement, cognitive effort, and brain activation to do this. But when we are facing these two choices, and the adolescents will usually choose the early, easier virtual options. And this led me to think about that, how to train their social skills when not only social skills and also stress and frustration. Because when they face no difficulties, how would they become stressed or frustrated? Because I think sometimes stress is also good for us, such as stress will motivate us to move forward. And also for the attention problem and to to me, I think it is more difficult for them to attention because there's a research showing that the frequent use of social media was also develop the ADHD symptoms. And there is also a simple daily life examples to illustrate because it's also difficult for me to put down the phone 5 minutes before the time of having the dinner. And I also want to talk about the numbing emotions. The numbing emotion is that when we have offline communications, we hear some different things. Usually our emotion will follow the talkers, such as the facial expression or gives suitable opinion. But when we on the social media, we normally we can as well as we can have the opportunity to ignore the post, or when we react with the post, we will normally give a like or give an emoji, and we rarely comment on all the posts. And also, and from time to time, we having this numbing emotions. We be, the adolescents won't know how to communicate offline afterwards. And for my conclusion, when social media is our servant, is a teenager servant, they can enlarge the teenager social network, letting them to know more friends or let them to meet similar interest friends all around the world. The boundaries become less between each others, and also it can help them to voice out for some important issues and make their noise voice out, and also find and get some authentic support, and even build their own platform or start their fundraising by their YouTube videos or Twitter campaigns. But when we overuse the social media, abuse the use of social media will become the adolescent master. Then we'll have low self-control. We can't control ourselves afterwards. We don't know. We always check the social media and anxious about others' feelings and others' reaction or even the amount of like only. And we would ignore online communications because everyone only has 24 hours a day. If we spend so much time on the social media, how do we have online offline communication? And some mental health problem will be proved that the correlation between the usage of social media and mental health problem, and also the time management problem I illustrated. And also, lastly, they can develop some personal skills that are essential for our lives. As a result, I agree with the statements set by Leung that technology can be our good servants and also a dangerous master. I think that we must get a good balance to to on online and offline communication in order to make use of our social media to be the servant or get a good life balance. And this is my reference page. And this is a Zoom meeting ID and password. And thank you for your listening. I'm going to stop share now. Recording.